On this Wilderness Wednesday, we woke up early at 6 a.m. and drove across the steppe towards the Tamerlake Canyon. We crossed the Tamerlake Gorge and river and entered into another county, but instead of going up towards Kegan and Kyrgyzstan, we turned right past the town of Oxide towards the Charin River Canyon. Coming up out of the canyon, instead of going straight to Almaty, we turn left on a road that takes us alongside the gorge and then up into a high mountain valley. Nestled at the foot of the mountains that border Kyrgyzstan is the town of Zhalangach. We passed through the town of Zhalangach, through other villages up and down to the town of Seti, located on the riverbank of the Chelik River. Just after Seti, we turn left into the Kolsai Lakes National Park, which leads us to a parking lot above the first lake. We descended on foot to the first lake and took a hiking path along the right side of the lake, all the way to the river that empties into the lake. The trail continues along the creek through the forest and makes a left turn up a steeper canyon past moss and big trees and rock slides and leads eventually to Lake number 2, Kolsai Lake number 2. There we had our lunch and had wonderful views of the lake before heading back to the car for a total of 15 kilometers round trip hiking. Entered the park and we're headed up the canyon to the lake. We'll eat breakfast here. It's a beautiful morning and we've arrived at Kolsai. You can see the lake behind us. So we're gonna eat breakfast here at a little gazebo and then we'll hike up past the lake, around the lake, up beside the river to a second lake, which is bigger. Here by the parking lot, they have a great picnic area. This is actually on the landslide from the earthquakes in 1887 and 1889 that blocked this canyon and formed the lake. Bon appetit. So the trail on the forest goes up. We get a nice view of the lake from here. Up around that corner. So after the earthquake caused a mudslide that dammed the valley, this river filled out the lake, and you can see evidence of that. Here is the remains of the forest that's been covered by the lake. Now we're on the path by the river.
We found a wraparound tree. This tree wraps around that tree.
I just came across a snake. Crossing the path.
So we've entered an unusual forest for us in Central Asia. It's a spruce forest with ferns and lots of vegetation, but most interestingly, it's not very steep. Most of the spruce forests are really steep, but this is down at the bottom of the valley and relatively flat. There's a big spring coming into the main creek. So you notice our river has disappeared. It's gone. We think it's because there's this big rock slide. You can see how it came up from the top of the mountain down here and covered the river. Maybe the river's underneath the rocks or it got rerouted to that spring we saw. We're not sure. So the river is still gone, and this canyon seems to be full of rock slides. The rock slides continue with big boulders. Trail's getting pretty wild here. But I think I hear the river coming back. We'll see in a few minutes. Right about here is where the river disappears into the rocks. But up ahead, there it is. So the farther up we go, the more water we see. This is an amazing cascade. The trail has become quite muddy, but we're getting close to the lake. We missed the turn for the people trail back there and got on the mighty horse trail. Now we're back on the people trail. It's a lot better. You can see how high we've come up. We've met the river above its cascades, and the lake is just around the corner. Well, after a big climb, switchbacks, rough rocky trail, we made it to Kolsai Lake number 2. Once again, the river has disappeared under the rocks, but there's definitely water in the lake. We're gonna go check it out now. Beautiful. Little log jam here, right? A little bit windy out here. Well worth it. So there's some good potential campsites here with the beach, especially over here. Look at this. Got a toilet, spot for your garbage, little bench, lovely. Just a little windy today. The valley behind the camp is also beautiful and worth exploring. Back in the trees, a little more secluded camping and less wind. We're headed back down. Remember to always take the left-hand trail to avoid the horse muck trail. Left-hand trail is much nicer and less muddy. A little more rocky, but less muddy. All right, now the steep trail begins. This time we're on the people trail, not the horse one, so no muck, but still really steep. So right below the rock slide behind these bushes is where the river re-emerges. So we ran out of water in our bags, but there's plenty of water in the creek. With our portable filter, we can drink all we want. And right over here there's some fish jumping. I don't know if you can see them. There they are.
How deep this moss is. What?
Wow.
It's so deep.
Some awesome moss.
Wow. It's crazy.
And more water.